Okay. Hi, everybody. It's Ms.VahVah. How are you doing? I made a post yesterday and it said, Ms.VahVah's perfect parting system is aesthetically pleasing to the eye. And you don't have to ignore the scalp to appreciate the lock style. I posted that because someone said that to me and I was like, you know what? People need to know that. Not that they don't think that already, but just in case they haven't had the thought, I wanted to elaborate on it. Okay? So, the perfect parting system is something that I came up with that I realized would have multiple benefits for the client. So, I committed to doing it. It takes a lot of work and it takes a high level of integrity to be consistent in this type of technique, but it's a standard for me. And I wish, okay, people stop coming on my screen. I wish people knew more about it. So I am making this video. I have my couple little notes here, because people want to know what the benefits of it are besides it just looking nice. Okay. So I have it broken down into benefits, how it's customly installed, like the reasoning behind it. I'm going to brief over it. And then also maintenance. A lot of people wonder, once you get the perfect parting system, how does maintenance go? Whether if I'm maintenance in their hair, if I'm giving them lock maintenance, or if someone else is giving them lock maintenance, or if they're doing their own hair. Okay? I had all of these things in mind when I decided to trademark the whole idea of perfect parting system for starter locks. Okay? The perfect parting system is a part of my sophisticated starter lock system. Okay? So the starter lock, sophisticated starter lock system is multiple things, not just the perfect parting, but that is the first step to it all. Okay, so you guys forgive me if I seem a little foggy, because it's the end of the day and I decided to still make sure that I got on and share this information with you guys. So here we go. The way I think about the perfect parting system is that it's insurance for the life of the locks. Okay? There's a lot of different things that people come up against when they get locks as time goes on, and I wanted to set up something that would stand the test of time when it comes to caring for someone's locks. Okay? So the first thing, which is probably something that's underappreciated and not noticed very often, people typically don't see this issue when it's happening. They normally just see the results of this issue not being addressed. Okay? And it's the balance of tension when your hair is being repetitively maintenance, because it is going to be repetitively maintenance, because your hair grows out in open hair, and what I call open hair, and your loctician is the one that locks your hair. I know that hair will bunch and mat on its own, but I've never seen any bunching and matting somehow spin itself into a little tubular shape. Okay, so I like to address that, which is your hair does not come out of your head locked, but that small little critical point of thinking of when the hair grows and then the hair is locked, that little space, the new growth area, where we have to pay attention to the level of tension. So try not to be long-winded, but you guys know I'm constantly trying to address 50 people in my head at one time when I'm answering one question. Okay? So the point that I'm making is that the perfect parting system, just for the squares simply being squared, sometimes a person's scalp is a little looser than another person's, right? For example, this, and I always make up things on the spot, so For example, this is my tank top, right? Now, when the tank top is laying here, it's fine. But if I decided to move the tank top, guess what? That line doesn't stay there anymore. Oh my gosh. Anthony, what are you doing on here? Anthony, get off of here. I'm recording. Okay, so just with the squares, that square is going to move if the person is pulling on the scalp too much. Okay. When the scalp is pulled on, everyone's probably seen it, right? Like when someone's palm rolling someone's hair and their kind of head being jerked, no matter how tight or loose a person's scalp is, you'll typically see that scalp being lifted, just like how you see my skin being lifted off my hand, or the hair. See how the hair is being pulled, how it moves the skin? Naturally, your skin moves, but sometimes I had a client, she would part her daughter's hair, and when she parted the hair would, when she put the rest of the hair into the ponytail to hold it out of the way, the scalp, the part wasn't straight anymore. And it was because the scalp was moving, not because the part wasn't straight. Okay? So that's just kind of give you an idea, an example of what I mean by sometimes the scalp can move. And you can see that, and that comes from a little too much tension on the scalp, especially if you see that there's squares there. Now the square is turned into like some sort of morphed little shape. It lets the stylist know that they're probably putting a little bit too much tension on your scalp. Okay? Now, of course, the perfect parting is aesthetically pleasing. It looks good to the eye. The eye and the brain loves to see things that are organized and coordinated. Okay? So that's the first simple reason of understanding why it looks so good. But the balance of tension is extremely important. Okay? It also prevents the appearance of scarcity in the scalp. Okay? Because the row, of course, this is the first row, second row, third row, fourth row, right? The first row is a set of squares. The second row is a set of squares slightly shifted. And the benefit to the bricklaying and parting is the fact that the second row, when the locks hang, they fall in between the parting of the previous layer of locks, okay? So you don't get a chance to see the scalp, you see? So it actually gives you coverage. Now, when the blocks are parted without bricklaying and parting, randomly or in different shapes, which you can kind of control where the locks land, but with the bricklaying and parting, it guarantees coverage. Okay, now there's some issues that may occur as time goes on when you have locks for multiple reasons that will make you want to pay attention to your foundation so you can avoid the appearance of scarcity. Okay, now future issues, for example, like possible medication that you have to start using. A lot of times people using blood pressure medication and it can thin their hair out. Or if people have medication that they have to use that can dry their hair and it can make the hair brittle and more susceptible to breakage. Okay, and that can cause an appearance of less density in the scalp, less strands of hair, and then your parting actually seems to widen. Okay, and what you definitely want is a lock from the row above swinging in between that part, because it allows you to have coverage. Okay, even really stressful moments in life, people going through graduations and end of the school year or pregnancy, that's a major one. Most of the time, women will go through pregnancy, and from my experience, from the 7th month up to 4 months after the pregnancy, you will see a shed that may happen. And it is dramatic. It is a drastic change that can happen in your locks. And you want to make sure that if that happens, you want to make sure that you have that coverage there. Okay? Now, as you get older, another issue that can happen in the future that you want to ensure your scalp and your locks with, locks from, is age. As you get older, typically, from my studies and from what I can see and from what I've been told, this is a collection of information, right? There can be up to about 5 strands of hair that grows out of one hair follicle, okay? And as you get older, those strands of hair lessen a little, okay? Not for everybody, but mostly everybody, okay? It's just what happens. Sometimes, like, for example, somebody say, well, I have never done anything wrong to my hair. I've taken care of it. It's just not as full as...
Any diamonds there? I found one.
Well, he found one today.
What?